Emotional intelligence, the ability to manage your own emotions and to understand the emotions of others around you. How to apply that to organizations and how to harness this capacity for people working across all generations to develop talents and also qualities. In an age where we are talking about artificial intelligence, how to match it with the human intelligence and the human emotions. We talk to Professor Leonard Young, a specialist on the matter. So Professor Leonard Young, first of all, thank you for joining us on the Business Connect show. And now, as we are talking about emotional intelligence, as a specialist, what for our viewers is emotional intelligence?
About 40 years ago, the scientists began to understand that in a workplace, it's not just the people's intelligence quotient or what we call IQ that's important. That's because in our selection, we already have selected people high IQ. The real success or otherwise in a workplace depends on the people EQ, which is the emotional IQ. And the essence of EQ is, can a person understand himself? Has he got self-awareness of his strengths, weaknesses? Can he manage his weaknesses? We call that self-regulation. So both self-awareness, self-regulation are part of intrapersonal skill. On top of that, a person must have interpersonal skill, perception towards others accurate, healthy, and can empathize with people and relate with them. So collectively, intrapersonal skill, interpersonal skill is called emotional intelligence quotient, short form to EQ.
Professor Young, so we know organizations have different processes, different set of rules, and various people with different talents, different qualities, and how to apply emotional intelligence in organizations.
In all organizations, since they involve people, and people have feelings, so when an organization with high EQ, what they do is then they become aware, sensitive to the individual needs. As they become aware of the individual needs, the individual feels self-motivated to work well. And our experience with our clients, a high EQ workplace is much more productive. Low EQ workplaces lose a lot of time, energy to help their team resolve conflicts which were originated from low EQ work culture.
Now, how to harness emotional intelligence within individuals?
So individuals working in an organization becomes motivated when their perception is that they are treated well, they feel secure, they feel accepted, a sense of belonging. And also they feel significant. Their perception is, I'm important. In this organization, I add value. Hence, a high EQ organization takes efforts to make team members feel secure and significant. Once they do that, organization gets employees that are motivated and productive.
So we're talking about a new phenomenon coming into organizations, which is artificial intelligence. Now, where's the place of human intelligence and human emotions in all that?
Like all new technologies, so artificial intelligence would need to blend in with the existing culture, needs to harness the existing work culture. And I see that it will be an asset for the company to employ artificial intelligence to help people become emotionally more intelligent. So it's an asset. It can be done well. On the other hand, if it's abused, we use the artificial intelligence knowledge to bully, intimidate people, then that's low EQ.
And Professor, do you think that in organizations it is the responsibility of our employers to ensure the emotional wellness of the employees, or is it a both way?
Yes, absolutely. I think, first of all, leaders have to understand if they want employees to do work well, the employees need to be self-motivated. And emotional intelligence contributes largely to that self-motivation. It makes individuals feel I am wanted, I am valued, they treat me well here, and their perceptions become healthy.
So do we understand that a better emotional wellness equates to empowerment of the employees?
Absolutely. When employees have this perception that they are valued, that they are well taken care of, that organization is high EQ. Right? When the employee has a perception that they don't care for me, they intimidate me, they make me fearful, or they take me for granted, then that organization is low EQ. So that's the difference between high EQ, low EQ organizations.
Professor Yong, you've been around the world running master classes on emotional intelligence, and how do you see the level of EI in Mauritius?
After 20 years, it was 20 years ago I came for the first visits. Now I see a lot of development, urbanization. And with that, correspondingly, I anticipate that high EQ is required. Because with this modernization, you're bound to get the usual issues involved with modernization, people getting stressed, mental health problems. Malaysia went through that, and we have tried to implement emotional intelligence in all aspects of our life. And hence my suggestion, recommendation for Mauritius is to apply more of the EQ scientific knowledge breakthrough that we have. For example, in the home, children from 3 to 6, the parents must spend time with them. Without that essential ingredient, the next generation will get affected. Children who grow up without the parental guidance, influence, and especially discipline from parents, they will have serious disciplinary issues 10 years later. So it is very important, imperative, that Mauritian society become higher EQ as a whole.
Now we know that in organizations there are people working across generations. You got millennials, you got Generation Z, and how to relate with emotional intelligence with all those generations.
Yes, and the good thing about this is that although generations are different, the essential principles are always the same. No matter which generation the person belongs to, he needs to feel secure in his perception. He needs to feel accepted, a sense of belonging, whether he's young or old. And he needs to feel significant. Am I important to the environment? Do I add value? Hence, EQ is essential, and it cuts across all generations.
Professor Yong, thank you very much. Industry 5.0, Innovation 5.0, Strategy 5.0. We're talking about developments within organizations. Enterprises always striving to improve their processes for their bottom line. And now we're talking about artificial intelligence, how to make technology work together with human intelligence. We talk to Tan Chipeng, who is the CEO of Team Synthesis. So Mr. Tan Chipeng, you are the CEO of Team Synthesis, and we're talking about Innovation 5.0. What do we understand by this concept?
Innovation 5.0 is a conceptual attempt to explain life have changed in Industry 5.0 since COVID. So in order to survive, we need to be thinking without the box and pursue innovation to promote resilience and sustainability.
Now you're talking about technology, artificial intelligence, and where does the human intelligence find itself in enterprises, the human capital, how to focus on them in all this technological development?
In my humble opinion, technology do not drive business. It's business that drives technology. But you're right, the world of Industry 4.0, before Industry 5.0, has been one that put together digital, physical and biological, right? And because of COVID, it has now been accelerated to be Industry 4.0, promoting two pillars. What are these two pillars? Everybody will agree, COVID-19 has brought incredible, massive changes to the world, right? All the world is impacted. A lot of organizations have been shut down. The smaller organizations have perished. Now, for those who survive, they are also indirectly impacted. You will recall that we started by salary cut, right? 20% or more, and people are being deployed and redeployed and whatnot. Now, because of that, the question of sustainability became a big issue. So, Industry 5.0 is addressing these two pillars about how do we continue to be resilient in the face of future challenges that has already been triggered by COVID-19 in our recovery, but also can those organizations that have been impacted continue to sustain their existence, right? And that has a lot of impact towards how we approach life by the tipping point 2025.
Like you said, so people who are affected. So at the center of all enterprises, we have the human capital. So how to apply Innovation 5.0 to make sense to people's lives?
Okay. The other word for Industry 5.0 is human-centric Industry 4.0, aka cognitive Industry 4.0. That means we recognize that Industry 4.0 has brought a lot of benefits, but unfortunately, in the same time, they are putting machine first, therefore resulting in a lot of unemployment and displacement. But Industry 5.0 got to bring a bit more human touch to Industry 4.0. That's why Industry 5.0 is an attempt to be more humanizing Industry 4.0. Now, because of that, you mentioned about AI. We later talk about it as generative, right? Because that is the current version of AI. But AI has been positioned, depending on who you speak with, as either a good, i.e. positive, or a bad, negative. Now, practitioners like us like to focus on the positive. From a practitioner standpoint, we believe that if we prepare from the people's perspective, that means we upskill people and make sure that we adapt to the right mindset of survival, right? And we call that the adaptive mindset.
And as we're talking about Industry 5.0, Innovation 5.0, Strategy 5.0, is Mauritius ready to adapt all those?
Thank you for bringing this very important point. What drives us to be among the first in the market that keep talking about Industry 4.0 in 2017 is the realization of the top 100 CEO. We met them and at that point in time, nobody really have heard of Industry 4.0 nor pay attention to them. The world was mesmerized by something else. 2018 is the midpoint between 2011 when Industry 4.0 was launched to tipping point 2025, right? That's why we did a major conference with more than 50 speakers in Mauritius. I'm very happy to share that most of the top 100 companies are regular participants in the annual masterclass that we are conducting, and they also will be present on 20 October at Ravenala, right, to attend these annual masterclasses. Now, what do we share in this masterclass will answer your question directly. We always pick 12 case studies, 3 from strategy, 3 from process, 3 from people, and 3 from technology, right? Now, this 12 case study focus on a few things, right? Very, very specific. Critical success factor, why this case study was successful, how successful is it, quantitative KPI, not blah, 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 and lessons learned, right? This person has done it before, let's sit on the shoulder of the giant so that we can see further. And since they have done it before, what are the future trends, right? If we have done it before, you can see further and you can see the next trend. So, with 12 case study by keynote speaker, international and local, we believe that organizations that participated would know what are some of the possible things they can do immediately, guided by the case study. Now, we bring about 12 to 13 local luminaries as panelists. Why? Because the keynote speaker will probably share proven case study that has been achieved overseas. Now, those skeptics in Mauritius who say, hey, this is applicable in Singapore, but not necessarily in Mauritius, we have the local panelists to comment on it. And they themselves will present 12 to 13 case studies that they have done in Mauritius. So, sorry about my long answer to your short question. The answer is yes. We are showcasing 12 to 13 case studies of local Mauritian luminaries, and they are only C-level people that we invite. Why? Not because we are elitist, but it is always the bosses that drive the agenda in most organizations. So we get the bosses to come and share with the fellow bosses that are participants, so that trust can be created immediately, the bond is there, and follow-up can be done based on the case study with facts and objective evidence.
Business Connect, that's it for this edition. We hope you enjoyed the show, which you can find on our online platforms. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.